This video is made for adult collectors, and YouTube, please be. This is a toy gun. This is a toy. YouTube. Megatron was a gun back in the 80s, and we've had reissues of that toy and other gun Megatrons, but outside of Masterpiece and the third-party offerings, Megatron hasn't really been a gun since Classics. And why is that? Well, the easy, quick answer is gun laws. G1 Megatron is actually banned on some airlines, and some places have very strict gun laws, and those include laws around G1 Megatron, because he turns into a Walther P38 that from a distance would look like you're swinging an actual pistol around. So it's just not feasible to make Megs a gun. And this was the last substantial gun Megatron we got outside of Masterpiece, to my knowledge, because Masterpiece was intended for Japanese markets and I believe their laws are different. This Megatron here, while it's a beloved classic, get it? I'm sorry, I'll see myself out. But while this one is highly regarded, it's still not the best. This is the United version, so it's the one they couldn't legally sell over here because there's no orange tip, nor is it multicolored, so a cop would look at this and think it's real. This Megatron, design-wise, looks neat. It feels chunky and solid. Like, if Megs was gonna be G1 in Unicron Trilogy, then this is definitely what he would look like. The problem I have with it is I can't talk about the good without that good bringing up some bad. With Classics Prime, it doesn't have that issue. There is some bad with the figure, but the good far outweighs the flaws. Classics Megatron wasn't afford that luxury. The first cool thing is the paint. It's silver and it looks awesome. The finish is wonderful and the distribution of the deco is great, but then comes the problem of chipping. There are spots on here that the paint's coming off, and it's not horrible on my copy, but I've seen it worse on some others. The fusion cannon is the scope, and it's large, so it's really imposing. The thing definitely fits the tyrant motif that Megatron has. And then you realize it's on the underside of his arm and can't be moved. I don't know why they did that. You twist his arm to use the fusion cannon and his fist is like he's spilling his drink on the floor. The legs are cool. I like how these parts on the front slide up and down at the front because, I said that twice. These legs look cool. I like how these parts can slide up and down at the front because you can have them up or down. And I prefer down personally because it looks less egregious. I also really like the deco that gets exposed when you slide them up. It matches the red on the original toy, but also makes it feel more unified because it's around the leg as opposed to just on one side. Then there's the feet. He has large ass heels so he can stand firmly on the ground. Or so you'd think. The weight of the backpack and the cannon, especially the cannon, make him fall to the side and backwards a lot. And the ratchets in the hip to do that stock straight or has to pee thing, so they're no help either. It's just, every time I go to compliment this thing, it brings up an issue. But there are still some things that I can compliment it on that don't bring up issues, like the head. It looks awesome. I like the taller forehead and the way the scowl is done, and I was worried when I first got this that he was going to have gorilla arms, but he doesn't, so that's epic. So his articulation is pretty standard for the time, but I'm not going to walk you through his articulation because this is one of those toys that you just want to sort of like, hang on, you got ball joint at the head, nothing fancy, right? It's one of the ones that actually goes into the torso, not into the head, so it's a little weird to pose around. But then
Yeah, his ratchets sound good. Ball joint head, shoulders rotate, go in and out, bicep swivel, elbow bend, hips, do all the hip things, thigh swivel, knee bend, toe tilt. If you notice in a lot of the shots where he's standing up perfectly fine, that is because I've had to tilt his heels down. That way he actually, like, stands. Because if his heels weren't tilted, there he goes. Whoa. There he goes again. You gotta sort of like point the heels down and get him on his tippy toes in order for him to stand, but then he's like leaning to the side all the time. It's not great trying to get him to stand, and these hips don't exactly allow for the best range of motion because of how they're ratcheted. Like Classics Prime here, who came out at like the same time, has really nice solid universal hips. No ratchets in them. So he can stand at like a proper sort of natural A stance. But because I'm assuming they put the ratchets in there because of how heavy this was, it doesn't work super well because he constantly wants to fall over or he looks like he has to go to the bathroom. It's all right. I mean, they still look great together, but this one does the hips a lot better than this figure. And there he goes again. Pain.
His transformation is very complicated. Like how the limbs orient to go all around and contort is just a work of genius. You have to see it in motion.
All right, his transformation is very involved. It does take a while to figure out once you get it. It's like you start off easy, fold the feet up, you know, spread the legs out, blah, blah, blah. Take the backpack off. And then you start to get into like this. Men's just like become the thing. You know in the movie The Thing, where like the creature sort of splits apart and starts like following people, like, oh no, you're gonna get attacked. Bleh. Like, that's what this looks like to me. Alright, but once you're here, you want to fold the head away, rotate this, get it off the table so it stops making noise, split that, rotate that around, bring that out, fold in the fist, fold this down. This leg you want to have out 90 degrees, sort of peg that in. This sort of just like has guiding tabs. It sort of, they don't peg in, but they sit in place. I can't see my own viewfinder. There we go. Then you bring this part out all the way because you now want to bring the gun trigger in, and then that will mess up everything else that you've already done. Stay in place. There we go. Now you bring this, peg it in, bring this down, rotate the arm. Now this looks like it's incredibly, yeah. Now this is the part where I have a problem. You gotta fold these little clips up on the kibble. But this one doesn't like to fold up all the way. It's always sitting at an angle. So it's annoying to try and clip together. But you wanna take this and you just slip it in. Bring the arm back all the way. Peg the cannon in. Peg it in. Peg it in. Why are you not pegging in? What the hell? There we go. Pegged in. So this is what the gun looks like when it's complete. You want to see what the inside of this thing looks like? It's just a mess of limbs. Look at that. Look at how intricate. I don't know how they managed to figure this out, but they did. And it's super neat to look at. So then you close up the shell and it clicks into place. And there you have the Nerf gun Magnum, I think, mode.
Gun mode is pretty Nerf-like. I like it. Now, it doesn't fit in my hands because I'm tall and I have larger hands, but as a kid, this would definitely fit, and the trigger clicks, so that's nice. I don't actually have the Nerf gun this is based on, but I believe it resembles the Magnum, I think it was called. I know absolutely nothing about Nerf. I like how most of the robot is just hidden away because of the way they do the shell, forming like the sides, and it's super streamlined. The shell inhibits the robot mode, but it really helps clean up the alt mode, and it looks wonderful. If you want, you can unscrew the arm and remove the fusion cannon, but like, I'm not going to do that. It takes too much effort, and I don't like the way scopeless Megatron looks, but you can go scopeless if you want. And it really does look good next to Prime. Damn, I want the Deco, the Platinum one. I really want that. Like, it's an okay toy, and finding the colorful Hasbro one for a reasonable price is not that hard. But like, there are better Megatron toys out there. I wouldn't pay more than like 20 to 30 bucks for the Hasbro version unless it's sealed. If you really want like the be all end all official gun Megatron, you would get MP36. This one just, it's weird. It's weird. I wouldn't spend more than 30 on it. But that's been my look at Classics Megatron. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.